whoops, I missed our rotation, but hey, whatever, we're here, we're in it, we made it. Hi, hello, welcome. Hey, Keon's a member. Hey, Keon, welcome. Check the community tab for the Discord link if you're a member. I do want to say thanks for people who have been joining recently, people who are new here, welcome. There has been quite a big influx over the past couple of weeks of people joining up and people subscribing, so welcome to the shit show. There's some things to cover today. Unfortunately, we seem to have what I'm gonna call like the show staple now, where I'm just gonna have to be like, well, okay, what dumb thing did this person say today? And it's gonna be the same person. What dumb thing did they say this week? But whatever, we're here, we're on it. We'll get through this. We'll get through this together, and I might have to go buy myself a case of beer. Whew. So, there's been a lot of stuff going on about domestic violence and domestic abuse and apologetics for that abuse. I do want to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to kind of roll into a couple of different things. So I'm going to start off with this, and this is kind of what, this is what abusive behavior is. This is what abusive behavior looks like. I don't think anybody's going to, there's no actual abuse that takes place in this video, like nobody gets hit in this video, from what I mean, but the whole sentiment is kind of like, this dude's a dumb fuck. This dude's dumb fuck. Fekk. So, we'll start with this, and this is gonna be a little bit chunky because there isn't really a flow to this. I don't think I haven't been able to come up with, but, we're gonna start here. So, let me play this for you guys. Brace yourselves for the, let's just go.
Are single today. It's simple. Feminism. Feminism taught you one that you a queen, you God's gift to this earth, you the prize. No, the fuck you ain't. No, you ain't. You ain't a queen. You ain't never gonna be my queen because you ain't my mother. You don't love me unconditionally. You love me under conditions. And the problem is that I'm a man, I'm a leader, I'm the toxic asshole guy, the tool, right? Because when we go out, right, you expect me to take care of you, right? When we go out, I pay for it. You good. We go to the store, hey, get some shoes. You good. I got you. But when I tell you to do something, do it. That's the problem. Don't expect me to chase you and beg you and get on my knees, bro. I'm not submissive. I'm dominant. And then what happens is, I don't want to be with that. He's toxic, he's bad. Your friends tell you he's a bad guy, right? Then you go be with the nice guy and you end up cheating on him.
Oh, your friends are telling you I'm toxic. They're just assholes. Heliosor5 said, apparently when certain people cannot the fact, Chesh cannot the words. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's something fun before we have to do something heavy. Yeah. This is like... Can you justify abusive behavior any harder that, well, you should let me treat you like shit because I bought you shoes? Yes, that's good. That's definitely top tier. Top tier human interaction right there. That's how you have a relationship. I bought you shoes, so do whatever the thing is that I told you to do. I'm not gonna ask you nicely. If I tell you to do something, you do it, because asking nicely is a submissive trait. Dumbass. This is super, yeah, Justin makes a good point. Super insecure. I'll click it back just a touch.
And then what happens is, I don't want to be with that. He's toxic, he's bad. Your friends tell you he's a bad guy, right? Then you go be with the nice guy.
I don't want to get treated like shit.
And you end up cheating on him or leaving him because he's weak. He don't make you feel nothing. He don't blow the back. That's the problem. You're the problem. You're delusional. Why is it that even...
No, we can walk away. Okay. Well, I thought that, Turquoise says he's saying this in his mother's living room. Oof. Okay, so is this how you want your... Because he says at the beginning, this is the thing that gets me. He says at the beginning, you're not my mom. Like, you're never gonna be my queen because you're not my mom. And it makes me wonder, like, is that how you want your mother to be treated by your dad or your, like, whoever your mother's significant other is? Like, is this what you want? Like, because that would be the the conclusion at the end of the day, if you have any aunts and uncles, that would be the way you would expect your uncles to treat your aunt. How does your uncle treat your mom? Like, not your mom's, or like even their brother. Like, what? This just immediately, like, this, yeah. This guy's super salty. But, like, this is just an abusive mentality. Like, listen, I bought you shoes, therefore you should be grateful. You're an ingrate if you don't do whatever the thing is that I told you. You know, that kind of thing that Science First said to Boole, oh, well, Kyle let you do a fundraiser on Non Sequitur Show, and so you should be grateful. How dare you speak against him? Funny that. All right. Let's take a look. Where did some of this mentality come from? When people like say that the patriarchy is sort of like inbred into our society. Here's an article from the 50s. First problem. The question: if a woman needs it, should she be spanked? Okay. First off, this is such a weird question because you've loaded it with already if a woman needs it. I mean, if you're having like some sexual play and you're like into that and it's consensual and she needs it because it's consensual, then yeah. But if you're not into that stuff, you're gonna toss out the this. What a question. You're gonna load it with that, oh no, we're assuming that women need to be hit sometimes. So should she be? So I'm gonna read out what some of these say. This guy was Brooklyn Counterman. Why not? If they don't know how to behave by the time they're adults, they should be treated like children and spanked. That ought to make them grow up in a hurry. If it doesn't at first, they'll soon get the idea. And this is gonna go right under the line of why you probably shouldn't hit your kids either. Instilling pain and fear is not a good way to educate or nurture somebody. Find a different way to do it. This other guy said he's a Brooklyn barber. All these people are from Brooklyn, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is a Brooklyn newspaper, but yes, when they deserve it. As a barber, I've got a lot of faith in the hairbrush. I think there are certain cases where it is advisable. When it is, there is no reason why you shouldn't go right ahead and do it. I can't knock the idea. In my business, a man sets a lot of store by the results he can get with a hairbrush properly applied. This is from the 50s. This is what the 50s were like for women. But this is a thing, this kind of stuff is not exclusive to women. This is the kind of mentality that allows and enables and encourages domestic violence. What's this guy gonna do? If you don't listen to him? What's he gonna do? Is he just gonna dump you and be like, you know what, you're not for me? Is that the posture he's giving off? Is that what he seems to be implying? Doesn't seem like it to me. This guy said, who's a Brooklyn parking lot attendant, you bet, it teaches them who's boss. A lot of women tend to forget this is a man's world, and a lot of men who stepped down as boss of the family wish they hadn't. Spanking might help get back some of the respect they lost. And this is the thing. This is why it's like, oh no, feminism is the problem. Feminism is the problem. You're the problem. When you misunderstand fear for respect, fear and respect are not the same thing. These guys didn't lose any respect because they stopped hitting somebody. People just weren't afraid of them anymore because they weren't allowed to hit people. Brooklyn Toy Factory owner. Yeah, this, ugh, that's not. Is this the picture he chose to submit? Some of these I almost need to draw these guys. I think I might do that in my spare time, if I had any. Yes, most of them have it coming to them anyway. If they don't, it will remind them how well off they are. I subscribe to the theory that any ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's a man's world. Oh no, the patriarchy is not a real thing. This isn't something that, like, women and feminism just make that shit up. No, it's a thing that existed, and there's still traces of it, and there's still things that there are certainly extreme feminism stuff that I'm not cool with. I'm not big on man-hating. It's not like you're not talking, like, the average person at your workplace, the average man at your workplace is not one of these guys on average. Hell, I would even say that the majority of men aren't even this fucking guy. But there's a fear that's instilled, right? And that's what they think is respect, and it's just not. So stuff like this tends to lead to stuff like this.
I'm hot and I like women, so please leave us alone.
Well,
kindly.
Well, take young.
I'm at the beach in my bathing suit.
Yeah, that's a thong and that's a bra.
That is a fucking bathing.
The guy doesn't know the difference between a bathing suit and a thong and a bra, but okay. Tell me you're an incel without telling me you're an incel.
Take young eyes into consideration. They don't need to see pornography right in
We're
front
not
of
coming
their
up
eyes.
to you.
Hey, listen, women, how you look and how you decide to dress, you should take men into consideration when you do it. Uh-huh.
Is it bothering you? Please go away.
You're flaunting your stuff.
I'm not flaunting anything. Don't look at me.
I'm laying on the beach, enjoying my bathing suit in the summer. You're flaunting. Dude, get a dictionary.
How you look around and you're the only thing that sticks out because your whole body.
Okay, well, why are you looking at me? Close your eyes. What did you say? Gouge your eyes out if I fucking bother you. Did I ask you to talk to me?
Here's the thing.
You
didn't. But here's the thing. There's free will in America. There's freedom of speech.
You don't.
There's free will in America, so I'm allowed to tell you what I think you should do, and you should do it because I told you to. Well, what about that free will, though? What about that free will, though?
Get the fuck away.
And if men of God don't stand up, then our society's gonna go down.
If the guys don't stand up, man, our society, no! I'm curious to know how old these women are. I don't know, but pfft.
The drain because there's no morality.
I'm atheist, sorry. Yeah, same.
Okay, that's if you're an atheist, that doesn't mean you have to, show your body off. You can still put clothes on.
Oh, I can't with you.
Thank you for your unsolicited preaching. At the beginning, he's like, the guys sitting here, they don't need to see porn, and it's like, tell me you've never seen porn without telling me you've never seen porn. I don't know if this guy knows what porn actually is. I know it's really hard to hear what's being said. I apologize. There's no way for me to get text on the screen for this one.
Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
So embarrassing. I can't.
I'm speaking truth. Your body will never ever satisfy.
Please.
The physical never ever satisfy. There's a longing in each of your hearts to actually be seen. The reason why you're showing your body because you're like, am I?
It's shit like this. It's shit like this that leads to shit like this, which leads to shit like this, which leads to shit like this. We're going on to the next thing because, oh my god. My society, bruh. Oh, they're in their 20s. Oh, good. Nice. At least they're not underage. Props to those girls, by the way, for responding to that guy the way they did, because, wow, fucking inappropriate, dude. Okay, so let's take a look at what this says here. I'm gonna have to zoomy this boy. Actually, let's just open this in a new tab. Boom. I think you should be able to see that pretty well. On the outside, I can zoom in maybe a little bit further. There we go. Okay. So this is a comment left on one of Steve's recent videos talking about Kyle. You know, the guy who's been charged with, or the guy who's we've got video of beating the crap out of his boyfriend. And because we've been talking about that and the apologetics surrounding that, which, you know, comes from stuff like this and stuff like that and stuff like this, to, you know, how long are you going to keep going on about Kyle? 10 years? 30 years? If you talk that way face to face, you would have a serious problem. You don't talk to me like that. You don't talk to anyone like that. Yes, Kyle is horrible. You are obsessed. 300 videos will not change the world. Dude. Steve had responded with, guess what, genius? We are not face to face. And what if we were? You threatened assault on someone for telling you to fuck off. Maybe you are defending Kyle because you're an abuser like he is, so you can't control his temper, ? Is that a serious problem? I would have. Is that a serious problem I would have? Piss off, dude. Your superficial threats are worthless as your comments. You're a domestic abuse apologist, and now I can see why. You would have a serious problem. Oh, you don't talk to me like that. You don't talk to anyone like that. Hank Hill, meet the internet. Internet, meet Hank Hill. Oh, thank you. This is the other half of that. Perfect. Thanks, Feline. Let me just open this in a new tab. Shanks. Perfect. So let's take a look here. Shall we? So this is the first half. How long are you going on about Kyle? 10 years, 30 years? Frequently, so long as he poses a danger to others. You have issue with that? I have issue like many others who think you are obsessed beyond obsessed. I haven't watched any of your stuff in almost 2 years, and I come back thinking you have moved on to other topics. Nope, same old, same old. How many videos do you have to make that you think will satisfy you? Kyle is bad, we know, we all know, so to sit here and keep rambling about him over and over just points to your obsession. Stop. You are worried about him hurting others? There are bigger issues in the world that are affecting others, that are hurting others, but yet, another video on Kyle. Yes, he is bad. Okay, now after tons of videos, can we move on? The more you obsess with this shows that Kyle won. He is in your head, and here you are still rambling about him, still, over and over. They can't, no, yeah, which god is right? They really can't the facts. So, interestingly enough, the issue with Kyle being a piece of shit is an ongoing issue. That Kyle is continuing to be a piece of shit. He is currently holding a YouTube channel hostage. Steve is continuously a victim of Kyle until it's actually resolved. And this is not a resolved issue. Kyle is in jail right now, but the issue is not resolved, right? So you've got this situation where it's like, hey, listen, victim, shut the fuck up. Why do you keep obsessing over this ongoing issue that you have to deal with daily because it is not even resolved yet? Wow, what the fuck? I haven't watched you in 2 years, and I come back and look at this one video and assume that's all you're talking about. Why is talking about domestic violence something getting shit on? Because it's not like it was like only a conversation about Kyle. It's a conversation about apologetics, Kyle, his victims, what's gone on, why it's gone on, why people and how people are responding to stuff like that. There are bigger issues in the world. Domestic violence is kind of a big issue in the world. I don't know if this guy is new, but domestic violence is kind of a big ongoing issue and has been, you know, since the 50s. I mean, if we had non sequitur back at this point and it was like a year later and nothing new and nothing had happened with Kyle and nobody heard hide nor hair of him and Steve was still talking about him, then yeah, maybe I would see your point to be like, why the fuck are we talking about this? But this is not the case. This is not the situation we're in. I do feel obligated to read out Steve's comment here because he kind of slapped him around a little bit, figuratively, of course, with words. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Jesus, get help, dude. You come to my channel and tell me, the victim of multiple crimes, how to run my channel while caring if I talk about a domestic abuser, forger, perjurer, and alleged rapist. How he doesn't do... so he doesn't do any of those to other victims. Like you feel the need to comment your bullshit, victim-blaming, passive-aggressive horseshit to tell me that I'm obsessed? Fuck off, man. Seriously. You are one sick fuck telling a victim how to run their channel and are obsessed when they are still in the middle of a lawsuit with them and that person is now in jail because they beat the fuck out of his boyfriend. But you think you are someone who should tell me not to talk about him? That him committing domestic abuse is insignificant because there are other evils in the world. That's called the fallacy of relative privation. You, sir, are a fucktard. Please never comment again. Cheers. Now get the fuck out, you domestic abuse apologist piece of shit. Goddamn, Steve. Bingo. But here was the response. If you talked to that way face to face, YouTube comments. You would have a serious problem. You don't talk to me like that. You don't talk to anyone like that. Yes, Kyle is horrible. You are obsessed. 300 videos will not change the world. 300 videos will not change the world? If everybody made 300 videos speaking out against domestic abuse, it would probably do some things. I think that would probably change some stuff if people were more informed about, like, how domestic abuse works, how to recognize it. Like, there were 300 videos per person that would, like, educate people on domestic abuse. It probably would change the world, so I'm gonna horseshit that. Guess what, genius? We're not face to face, and what, you're threatening assault on someone for telling you to fuck off? Yeah. Yeah, pretty abusive, dude. It's kind of fucked up. It's people not recognizing who the victims are in these situations, right? Like, Kyle is the only person Kyle is a victim to is himself, right? Like, he's done this to himself. He's had every opportunity to turn this around, and he has been granted every lifeline that he could have possibly been given, and he hasn't taken a single one of them. He's determined to drown. And what do you want Steve to do? Jump in the water and save him? How would he even do that? Absolutely not. Why? That's horrible. Why would you... Hey, victim, stop talking about the crime that happened to you that the guy is currently still getting away with and is still in the process of committing. What a dick. Speaking of... Witch God makes a good point and says, the anti-Stevers are literally acting like Trump supporters. Speaking of anti-Stevers... So I'm gonna have to make a whole segment of this show about what dumb shit did Nate say this week. There's always something. There's always something with this man. Why? I don't know. I didn't make him this way. I didn't decide this. I am just a lonely goblin in the wind. I cry. I don't know what to tell you. So... Yeah, I would happily not have to talk about Kyle ever again. I would also happily not talk about Nate again. I would also happily not talk about KJ again, but, tomorrow is Keeping Up with Katie Joy, so Or sorry, Sunday. Sunday is Keeping Up with Katie Joy, so I'll see you there for that. We got 2 weeks worth of tweets to catch up on, and oh boy! Oh boy howdy. This is gonna be a trip. So... working on this for next week. How we stop the cult's fraudulent fundraisers. I see Steve, I see Red's Rhetoric, I see Ilya, and I see Sean. Where do you start? Where do you even start with this? I don't know where to start. This is so dumb. Okay. Nate, you didn't stop shit. None of you guys stopped shit. Oh my god. If it stopped, why does your crew not shut the fuck up about it? How does... okay, I'm on my third question already. How is Steve involved in this? Steve had nothing to do with these fundraisers. I will grant that both of these fundraisers took place on Red's Rhetoric's channel, but there's a nice, neat little detail in there that is, Reds wasn't there. Reds was not there. He gave his channel to other people to handle when these fundraisers were run. For Ilya, it was Boole, and for Sean, it was, I believe, Team Skeptic, but I'd have to double check on that one. So, granted, it was on Reds' channel, with this caveat of Reds wasn't there, but I digress, because this gets even more amusing. Not only was Steve not related at all, and actually donated to Ilya's, everybody got their money back because of Reds, right? If we recall, the person who did the investigation was Reds, and the person who got Ilya to go back and give all the money through GoFundMe was Reds, and the person who put their own money on the line to make sure Sean paid everybody back who felt that they ought to be paid back for was also Reds. So I'm curious that given Nate's involvement with Kyle, is he gonna put all of his YouTube money on the line to get people back their $6,000 that was donated to Kyle under false pretenses? In other words, a fraud and a scam? And if we're to believe Ben, you know, Kyle's victim, that we now have evidence that when Ben said he was being abused by Kyle, we have evidence of Kyle abusing another person. Does that make Ben believed enough? Because if we believe Ben, one of the main people involved in that scamming fundraiser was the person who gave Kyle the idea to run with that fraud in the first place on the court, which was Nate. Oh, Feline says that no, what Nate is alluding to is that he's best buddies with Reds. Oh, him and Reds are best buddies. So that's how he helped. No, Nate got in the way. I've explained this before, but I'll say it again. Nate and his buddies got in the fucking way. Nate's interview with Ilya is useless and does nothing but get in the way and detract from what's going on. Why? Because if you can't trust the interviewer and you can't trust the interviewee, then everything has to be independently verified about everything that takes place in that interview, making it useless because everything was getting investigated in the background anyway. And I assure you, if it was not for Reds, she'd have gotten away with it. And so would Sean. They would have gotten away with it, because if it wasn't for pressure from Reds, Sean wouldn't have said anything. And if it wasn't for pressure from Reds, Ilya wouldn't have said anything. Nobody would have known. That information would have stayed in the background. And how do we know that? Because you and your crew never provided any evidence. It wasn't until after the fact. And it wasn't until after Reds was investigating that you even did your interview. So no. And it got in the way. And on top of that, tell you what, you want to give us, somebody in my Discord made this point. I think it was Mr. Sirius. If you want, please show us what information you and your friends provided. What evidence did you and your friends provide for either of these that wasn't already put out by somebody else? Show me. I've got 16 hours worth of stream where I was live waiting for Negative Exponents to bring his information that he demanded I looked at for Sean, and he didn't bring it. Then after the information was out, put out by other people, he puts his video out. Show me. Show me what evidence you ever provided. Because your coercion of Ilya cannot be not only not trusted, but also it's coercion. You use dirty tactics, and you admitted to using dirty tactics. And when you get a coerced confession, it's worthless. As a lawyer, you would think you would know that. But, hey, I'm just a goblin. So, yeah, my challenge would be, hey, Nate, put your YouTube money forward, or, whatever. Put your own wallet on the line, exactly the way Reds did for the fraudulent fundraiser that you were involved in with Kyle. And you show that you're willing to get people their money back for the scam that you guys supported. Now, there's another bit to this, which is, in both of these cases, this is a resolved issue. So, and something that you'll also notice is that Nate, Uni, and friends will not say, holy shit, Kyle's a domestic abuser, fuck that guy, and not associating with him anymore. What they do is they detract, engage in apologetics, and support in the background. Or in the public if they think they can get away with it. You saw that with Ethan, you saw it with Science First, you saw it with Unirock. This is an ongoing thing. You see it here. Nate is detracting. Why are we talking about these resolved issues that you not only didn't help in, but you got in the way of? You don't see these people speaking out against Kyle. You don't see them even removing themselves from Kyle. You don't see that at all. But what you did see is you noticed that none of us talked to Ilya. None of us talked to Sean. None of us bring these people around. As far as I know, nobody's even talking to them in private. But that's not the case for you guys. This guy committed a fraud. You won't address it. Never do address it. And you make apologetics when it's found out that you start engaging in apologetics when you find out he's been beating the shit out of his boyfriend. There was no apologetics for Ilya. There was no apologetics for Sean. It was, yo, fuck these people. Some people don't think that Sean committed fraud. I agree. I don't like Sean, and I agree that I don't think he committed fraud. I think he lied. I think he did some shitty things. Fraud was not one of them. Ilya, absolutely fraud. But either way, both of these people have been kicked the fuck out. You know who else was kicked out of like, the community of people that you guys like to speak for? Kyle. He got kicked the fuck out. Because when people do shit like this, and people lie about shit like this, and when people are liars in general, you know who got kicked the fuck out of Steve's community for being a shitbag liar? Nate. Wow. Go figure. Weird. It's interesting that he's fine to detract from Kyle's behavior to go this way. But let's take a look and see what he's supporting down here and see what his followers. Oh, look, it's Trio Monkey. Yay! This fucking guy again. Who's surprised? Nobody. It's fucking nobody. Nobody's surprised. They need to go to jail for this. They? Who? Steve? Does Steve need to go to jail because Ilya did fraud and Reds did the investigation and got the money back from her by telling her to go to GoFundMe and basically pushing her into a corner where she had no choice but to do so because he did the investigation that Nate got in the way of? Now Steve needs to go to jail for that. Okay. Alright. Is that your endgame? We don't play games, but those that did with fraud raisers, doxing, and harassment are finding out their game is ended. What? What are you talking about? Drea Monkey gets me every time. This dude is like a... Oh, I mean, his clown profile is appropriate. Egghead said, you know, the Steve Sock account, because Egghead isn't a real person. He's just a Steve Sock. Let me rephrase this. What is your end goal in all of this? That they get proper consequences from authorities for breaking the law. Duh. What law did Steve break? What law did Reds break? What law did Sean break? The only one who actually committed fraud in this group here is Elia. And Reds is the one who did the investigation to get everybody's money. I don't know if you know this, but you can't put somebody in jail for money they stole from you when you say, hey, give me my money back, and they give it back to you. That's not how that works. That's not how any of it... Call the police, dipshit. The Twitter is not the police. Nate's YouTube channel is not the police. If you actually gave a shit about victims, you would care about the money Kyle frauded him out of. You would care about Unirock frauding people and pushing Kyle's fraudulent fundraiser when he knew it was fraud, and especially knows after the fact that it's fraud, including Nate. I'm shocked. I'm fucking shocked. Like this edgy their game is ended. Okay, alright, edgy McEdgelord over here. Yeah, okay. I'm convinced. I've been wrong the whole time. Steve Badman, wow, you've made me see the light. Feline says they want to play judge, juror, and executioner. Correct, yes. I don't think these people... What would the proper consequences be through law? Do you really think it would be jail time? Do you think that Ilya would get jail time? I don't think she'd get jail time. I don't think you would get jail time over this. Because that's, from my understanding of the legal system, she complied. The reason Kyle's getting time is because he's not complying. If he complied, he'd never be in... If Kyle actually did what he said he was going to do and comply with the judgment, he would never be he'd be never facing jail time or prison time. But he didn't. And he committed perjury. And fraud. And... forgery. Ilya would not be getting jail time over this. So, of course Menace is here. Why wouldn't he be? Haha, he tried to pull the same shit with me. I didn't take the bait though and didn't give him the answer he was hoping to get. You mean Egghead asked what your end goal was and you just danced around like a trio monkey? Are these two the same person? I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure they're not. I'm pretty sure sometimes they both show up in Unirock's channel, but I don't know. I don't pay that much attention. I don't care. The mental gymnastics of that whole crew is hilarious to watch. It's a lol cow theater. Beat uppery. Need I say more? I got content for years because of this dumb shit. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh look, it's Zag Creations. Hey Nate, did Katie lose the Toddy lawsuit? I thought that it was mutually settled. Did I miss something? No, Taddy nor Katie lost the lawsuit because it was settled out of court. So there would be no, like, loss. Although, depending on the day it is, Nate will say that somebody is innocent or guilty based on a settlement. So, provided Steve is involved. If Steve is involved and Steve settled, it's an admission of guilt. But for Katie, might not be the case. I think that's a fair question from Zags. Truthful Troublemaker said, as someone who has researched cults for years... Oh yeah, I completely glazed over the cult part of this. What cult? Guys, did you know that the main thing that Steve and I do is hide information from you? That's why we show on screen all the stuff we're talking about, right? Right? That's why my Gordian Knot of McCrazy videos is just chocked full of so many screenshots that, like, I couldn't even fit them all. Right? That's hiding information. That's definitely mischaracterizing and misleading. Is clickbaiting a title a scam? Inquiring minds wish to know. And every time these fuckers talk about the community, please keep in mind that I've gone out of my way to be sure that people in the community do have a voice, that you guys can come and utilize my platform for whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, what you see fit. That's why we have those hangout ones, and those more open mic things. And they're expanding. They'll get. I'm doing a lot of testing out right now, and we'll be adding and getting more people in as we go and opening it up more and more. It's a little bit closed off from who can join in right now, but that will expand given some time. But where is that the other way around? The point is that there are two very different situations going on here, two very different cults, two very different communities. Kyle got kicked out of the community. Nate got kicked out of the community. Ilya got kicked out of the community. I would argue Sean got kicked out of the community. So if we're kicking out people that are committing fraud, how are we a cult? Nobody hid any information about this. The only people that were hiding information were people like Negative Exponents, who claimed they had information and then wouldn't give it, and Team Skeptic, who claimed they had information and then wouldn't give it to anybody. How about this whole shtick? How about this whole shtick of, if you guys had not been involved, Ilya would have had a harder time getting away with it. Because there were people that weren't so shitty that were asking, right? Christ Puncher, one of those people that was questioning that at the time. So if you've got that going on, and then it's really hard to sift through bullshit when you guys do nothing but throw more bullshit on top of it, right? You see what I'm saying? On top of that, your guys' behavior and the way you handled this, had it not been for Reds thoroughly investigating this the way he did, and if it were me, Ilya would have gotten away with it, because I wouldn't have investigated. I would have been like, we don't investigate shit until they give us a reason to. Fuck them. And you guys provided nothing. Big stinking hunk of nothing. Had that been the case, it means that Ilya would have been under no pressure, wouldn't have talked to you whatsoever, and you wouldn't have been able to coerce her into a confession that totally is a legitimate confession. Because of your fucking coercion. Because of your behavior, Ilya had an easier chance of getting away with it. You should be thanking Reds. You should be thanking Reds for even entertaining your fucking dumb asses. Ridiculous. Okay. As somebody who has researched cults for years, and was one as a minor against my will, that's horrible, I'm sorry to hear that, I'd love to learn more about the usage of the word in this situation. Should I have some insight in the matter, I'd be open to contributing at Negative Exponents. Oh, rough. Rough buddy. That's a good question, though. How is this word being used? Because you're kind of throwing it around like it's completely meaningless. The exact same thing you did to, you know, rape apologist. Maybe you shouldn't be taking words, weaponizing them to the point of them having and carrying no weight anymore, because it's actually harmful for people who are in cults and people who are trying to help people in cults and people who are victims. Maybe the collateral damage that I talked about in my Gordian Knot video is actually relevant. Godless Scummer 5 said, I was really hurt by Ilya because I loved her as a friend. She did that whilst my sister was dying of cancer, which I'm 90% sure, certain I told her about. That's horrible. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's awful. I hope that you're doing better. Golden Unicorn for 10 said Nate used dirty tactics to coerce Ilya to confess, which would never stand in front of a judge, and he never asked Ilya to return the money. It was Reds who told and made Ilya to return the money. Yes, as well as had Reds not already been putting pressure on her with the investigation, there's no reason why she would have ever spoken to Nate in the first place, nor would have been as easily to coerce. And it basically just Nate taking advantage of somebody in a shit spot, the same way that he took advantage of Kyle in a shit spot to try and shit on Steve. You think? You think? Has any one of these people been like, yeah, no, I can't support Kyle anymore, fuck that guy? No, they make excuses, find ways around it, and don't actually rescind any of their support because fuck Steve, I guess. Menace to Sobriety. Just remember, if you ever offered Kyle moral support in the few years he was on YouTube, then nothing else matters. Steve is a god and his minions can do no wrong. What? What? Icarus asks a good question. Why did she talk to Nate? I don't know. One last fuck you to all of us, I guess? I have no idea. You'd have to ask her. I have no answers for you. Why would anyone talk to Nate? Better question. I also have no idea. Man, I thought I'd be going for 2 hours on this because there's Jesus, I had so much, but we actually got through this really quick. I don't know, man. There's like so much around this that this video's working on this for next week. So it'll be interesting to I don't know if anybody's gonna go watch it, but yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be full of facts and evidence and all that good shit. Are there any questions, by the way, besides why would anybody talk to Nate? Because I have no idea why anybody would talk to Nate. It's clearly not in your best interest. Golden Unicorn for 10 said, Nate confessed to Emily D. Baker that he was a cop who used dirty tactics. Makes me wonder why he left the police force and whether that attitude now plays in his current practice. That's a fair question. I don't know. I can probably find that clip, though, for anybody who doesn't know. I'll play that because I don't want to... I believe I have that kicking around. Here it is. Let me just hold on one sec. Oh no, the video is unavailable! Oh, that's so sad. Okay, I'll have to find another clip of it somewhere then. Alright, well, I don't have it as readily available as I did. I'll have to go back and find it. Hi, Puck. I understand. Kyle is the one who could have prevented all of this. He took that window of opportunity and decided to slam it shut. Yeah, because he had that window of opportunity from the community. He had that window of opportunity granted to him by Steve. He had the window of opportunity granted by Steve during litigation when there could have been talks and settlements. The judge gave... Oh my god, you're so dramatic. The judge gave Kyle multiple opportunities. It was so nice to have the money back from Ilya. I wrote, oh, Red's a big hug. Yeah, being able to get that money back was like... nobody's gotten any of their money back from Kyle. You'd think that if these guys fucking cared so much... You'd think if these guys cared so much about victims, they would care about Steve getting his money, but the best they get is like, oh, well, you know, depending on which day you ask them and how pissy they are that day. Sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, no, Steve should have been paid for his work. But then, you know, some other days it's like, yeah, fuck Steve, he deserved what he got. It's like, what? You didn't fucking do it. I'm not sure why it's unavailable, but that was my pinned one. Emily D. Baker's video is probably still up. I just had like a clip that somebody had posted that's private right now, so I can probably go and find that from Emily's channel and go find that clip. I'll just have to do that later, so. To be fair, Nate can be good when he's not talking about Steve or anyone related to Steve. Can he? I wouldn't trust it. The thing is the problem is when you fuck around so much with facts and are so manipulative all the time, it makes it really difficult, because he's also been like bullshitting about Katie too, even when it doesn't involve Steve, right? So you would have to like go through everything every time. So like, what's even the point? You're just having to do more researchers when there's better researchers and better sources out there talking about the same topics. Don't forget your healthy dosage of race baiting. Even after he backstabbed Steve, Steve was still willing to work it out. Kyle decided his way or sue, so here we are. Yeah, and even after being sued, because again, if you recall, Kyle changed his tune over and over while these people were all supporting him and sucking his dick and making sure he had a platform that he could try to coerce and convince people and lie to people to give him money. All right. Steve should have been paid for his work, as if he's an employee, not a co-owner. Yeah, exactly, Smitty. Like they don't even treat Steve as if he's not, like, even when they're saying that, they're still not in the right spot. They're still off by degrees of magnitude. I thought the fact that he's willing to dump all of his integrity just for a grudge makes me not able to trust any of his things. Yeah, that's totally fair. Can you do your 1 minute TLDR about the Non Sequitur show again? It was fun to watch. Oh god. About like why, are you talking about like the why we hate Kyle? Hate is I don't even hate Kyle, I just think he's a waste of time. Okay, the TLDR, my quick TLDR about Non Sequitur. Okay, I have to think for a second. Kyle and Steve had a show together. Steve created a YouTube channel and convinced Kyle to go onto YouTube. Then, for bullshit reasons and lying, Kyle got control over the channel. He then worked very hard to slowly push Steve out and bring other people in who assisted him in pushing Steve out. Eventually, he stole the entire channel and all the money, never paying Steve nor Boole for any of the work that they did, forced both of them out, and said, "Fuck you, so sue me." So Steve did. Steve sued Kyle, and then Kyle tried a bullshit story to say that he wasn't served properly, which according to Ben was an idea that was given to him and helped out with by Nate Brody. Now, during that time, Kyle has since refused to follow court orders. He forged documentation. He submitted falsified documents. He also committed perjury, as well as submitting financial documentation that was created by Agrippa with help from Nate, who put Agrippa and Kyle together, as well as Agrippa and Nate were business partners at some point, or still are, I don't know. And meanwhile, the judge has been like, Steve owns everything, go give it to Steve, and Kyle has refused, and these people have been fucking egging him on, and then Kyle beat the shit out of his boyfriend, and fuck that guy, and now these people are engaging in apologetics for that, because fuck Steve, I guess. Wah, 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 wah. That was different than the other time. The other time was, why do we hate Kyle? This one was like, what's the TLDR on Non Sequitur? So we're waiting on a court date. There's a court date set for October 15th for a hearing for Kyle. So that's what we're waiting for next, is October 15th. Is when there'll be the next update, at least from our end. Now, if you want to go see bullshit stories, you can go to Unirock or Nate, I guess. Because they definitely know what's going on. Anyway, back to wrapping this up. Shit like this is how you get shit like this, which comes from shit like this, shit like this, and shit like this. Apologetics for abuse is garbage. Detracting, so you never have to address the shit you supported, is garbage. Get your shit and take it and go. Oh my god. Nate is showing his character, and so is Kyle, and uni fucked and the rest. It is what it is. Yeah, fair. He said Kyle would win and Steve will lose. KJ completely slandered Steve McRae. I only know of the situation as of 3 months ago, too. Yeah, the whole... Okay, so they keep trying to bring up that Medi-Cal shit, which was something that Katie said that Kyle told her that she ran with, which she apologized for, and then took that apology video down. So there's that. Kyle was given the most golden of opportunities of keeping his share of the profits while having to do nothing, but Steve haters convinced him that he would win. That too. He probably would have gotten away with backstabbing Steve with a reward and not even a penalty. Yeah, probably. If you go against Kyle, you are a homophobe. If you go against Nate, you're a racist. If you go against KJ, you're a sexual abuser. If you go against Trump, you're a deep state. See how that works? You're not wrong. That is kind of the way that is. Big oof. It's okay. Kyle's going... He didn't know about the Agrippa part. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. The financial documentation that he's so proud of that was submitted to the court, which was just a hearsay summary spreadsheet, no receipts, no nothing, was by the judge called not so sad it was not even considered an attempt at compliance. That's how bad it was. I definitely recommend you watch, anybody who hasn't caught up with Non Sequitur, watch my read-through playlist of all of the dockets that are submitted through the court. But if you skip to, like, I think 9, it should give you a pretty good summary where the court summarizes what is the case and what the court is accepting as fact. I think it's 9. I would have to go and double check, but if you kind of work backwards, you'll find it. Multi-layered shit cake that they can all eat. Yeah, fair. If you go against Chesh, you're a racist against goblins. Finally, someone under respect. Miss your majesty. I knew the Steve hate train was a real one. They basically condoned Kyle's actions and said Steve was still the worst. Absolutely disgusting. They did at least that. At least that. There are some that are still supporting him. They tried to pay his bail before they found out what he was actually in for. There were people running around saying that if they had the money, they'd still pay the bail because fuck Steve. There are people trying to say, oh, well, we never supported Steve while shitting on Ben and Boole, who are both victims. These people don't give a shit. These people don't care. Nate doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about victims. He doesn't care about any fraud. He doesn't, because if he cared about fraud, he would have issues with Kyle and helping Kyle with what he did. He doesn't give a shit. He cares about how he can fucking get Steve thrown in prison, and even then they probably wouldn't shut up about it. Alright. Nate's predictions of who will win court cases is well documented when he congratulated Kyle on this easy win against Steve when Ben came forward. Yup. Okay, last thing we're going to touch on today. We're going to change gears here because I saw this right before, or just before I went live, and I was like, oh, this is big-brained, and it's Dave Rubin! Alright, so we're moving off of Steve. Reminder, Twitter banned me for saying they want a federal vaccine mandate back in July. Here's the tweet. They want a federal vaccine mandate for vaccines which are clearly not working as promised just weeks ago. People are getting and transmitting COVID despite vax. Plus now they're prepping us for booster shots. A sane society would take a pause. We do not live in a sane society. I'm going to break up my crayons here for a second. You did not get banned for saying... This just says delete a tweet. This doesn't say anything about getting banned, but I'm going to take his word for it. I'm going to assume that he got like, put in Twitter timeout or something. For saying they want a federal vaccine mandate back in July. That's not what you got banned for. The first part of this sentence is not what you got banned for. It's everything after the word which that you got banned for. So they want a federal vaccine mandate for vaccines which are clearly not working. Okay, bullshit. As promised just weeks ago. Bullshit. People are getting and transmitting COVID despite the vax. Of course they are. The vaccination isn't going to do that. That's not how vaccinations work, dipshit. Plus now they're prepping us for booster shots. Yes, good. Keep preventing COVID, thanks. A sane society would take, but this is not the part you got in shit for. Lying about COVID vaccines is the shit you got in trouble for. Yay, good job. But I do agree with the last part. We live in a society, not a sane one. It is a society. There's way too much. I have a whole show called Dumb Fekk Friday. That we don't live in a sane society. I stepped on a bee because of you. Oh yeah, by the way, I stepped on a bee this morning. It's your fault. I'm blaming. It's totally my fault. I wasn't wearing my glasses and I didn't put shoes on because I was being lazy. Come here. Yeah, I know. So it wasn't a honeybee or a bumblebee. It was, I'm not even really a bee. It was either a hornet or a wasp. And now my foot hurts. It's kind of swollen. Yes, butt scratches, I know. I want to move this over here so you guys can see. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Say hello. Speak. Oh, yeah, good boy, lay down. Oh, you came over. I wanted you to lay down. You gonna lay down over here? I don't know. I was pretty upset when I saw that what Matt Dillahunty said about Ben. He's another one who can't the fact. Ben is a fucking sweetheart. We love Ben. I'm sure Nate will be at 1 million subs any day, considering he's covering Steve. Yep. What is this? What are you sending me? You're gonna get me in trouble? Oh, yes. For example of why Dave Rubin's fucking tweet got nuked into oblivion. Because it deserved to be nuked into oblivion, because it's full of misinformation. Ta-da! Reported cases among not fully vaccinated. Reported cases among the fully vaccinated. Wow. Yes, Dave Rubin. You got nuked. You got your one tweet nuked. I'm gonna take away that charity I gave him to say that he got banned. He's still got his account. His account is still here. There's no damage to his account at all. He's still got his check mark. He's still tweeting. This was from July. So maybe he got in timeout, but his account isn't banned. He's still here. So I'm gonna take that charity back. But this is not why. That's not why you got banned. You got banned for bullshitting about COVID. Yay. Oh, I'm being yelled at. Oh, hey, you got the timestamp. All right, let's check this out.
But I think because
charged with a criminal offense, it attaches from the moment that you're taken into custody. But the issue here with Duggar is, was he in custody? And custody is not arrest. That's not what it is, right? Yeah. It's less stringent than you are under arrest, sir. And I'm going to tell you what your rights are.
It's going to be interesting to see if they argue it, because I'm sure they're going to say, we told him he was free to go. We told him he was not in custody. But they also said he was in the back of the car and being interviewed in the back of the car. So I'm like, there are actually quirks here. I don't think it's cut and dry. And it's going to be a very, very interesting. The evidentiary hearings on this, I think, are going to be very interesting.
Well, there was like a famous case that I forget the name of the case, but where the cops where they wanted to interview the person, but they didn't want to give him Miranda, so they knew they were going to arrest him. Like, they had all the evidence, so they were going to arrest him. So instead of arresting him, so they would avoid Miranda, they questioned him, got the statements, and then arrested him like the next day, and was like, oh, well, and the court was like, well, no, because you knew at that time that there was enough to arrest them, then obviously you're trying to get him around to Miranda. But I think because they teach you how to play. Like there's a course that they give you, interview and interrogation, when you're in law enforcement, and they teach you how to play the game, right? So and generally the game is, if you're going, number one, beat cops who are on the beat, they never give Miranda. That's just what you see on TV, because they tell you don't give anybody Miranda because God forbid they say yes, then you kill all the detectives who want to question them later, right? So if you arrest somebody in the street, you just arrest them, and since you're not interviewing them, you don't give them Miranda. But when you take them, but then when the detectives get them, then the detectives give them Miranda because they give it to them under different situations. So here I'm thinking, but I'm not sure how the feds do it, because the feds, they have different protocols, and I'm assuming their Miranda is a little more stringent because it's really at the federal level, sometimes things are a little bit looser, but sometimes, especially when you talk about questioning, you can't lie to federal agents, but you can lie to state police and things of that nature. So it's interesting because I think the custody piece here, if there was enough to arrest him at the time when they did the search warrant, and I think if you could find real proof that yes, we could have arrested him.
Interestingly enough, this is not the clip I was thinking of. Interestingly enough, if from what I recall, the clip that I had was, I'll find another one. I'll find another clip for you guys, and I'll bring it maybe next time, or I'll throw it onto Twitter. But I don't know. I don't know if this clip quite shows what I was getting at. But I'll find the clip for you guys for another day. But yeah, Ben Shapiro, or sorry, not Ben Shapiro. Whatever, they're the same. Dave Rubin. Fuck these guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go find you that clip, and I'll, yeah, Natalie's face says it all. He's talking BS. Street cops have to give Miranda rights. Listen, you're taught how to play the game, guys. You're taught how to play the game. Exploratory Minds for 5 says, there was a famous case, but I forgot the name of the case. Nate the Liar, full of it more than a constipated cow. Rough. Savage? Is it a lol cow? I don't know, man. The clip that I had, I used to have was a clip of him saying that, oh god, I wish I could remember like the actual phrasing of it, but he was saying that, I'm gonna see if the channel is still around. Oh, the channel's even gone for the person who had it, so this is gone now. I'll have to go hunting for it. But I'll take a look for it. I can't take the dog for a walk. I stepped on a bee. But I will let him know. I'm gonna get out of here. I ended up being shorter than I thought it was gonna be, so I'll take it. I will take it. I'll find the clip and I'll throw it onto Twitter for you guys. I'll get a hold of it and see what there is to see, so you guys know I'm not making bullshit claims. Wink, wink. Lorenzo asks, is this man a real lawyer? Oh my god. Allegedly. He claims to be a lawyer, but hey, what do I know? I've never seen the evidence for it, so. I'll get that clip, I'll throw it onto Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, and thanks for liking, subbing, hitting the bell, and becoming members, and Puck's upset. That's fair. Domestic violence is bullshit. Kyle's a shit for being a shit. And I'm also gonna throw in here, Sean, fuck you. Ilya, fuck you. And let's see if these people can put aside their hate for Steve and actually address something appropriately. Good luck out there, everybody. Stay safe. Have a good weekend. And I will see you guys soon. We'll talk to you later. Bye.